morning. Welcome to 30 Days of Qigong to Better Health. My name is Shelton. Today we're working with the liver cleansing exercise, day number 11. In Chinese medicine, the liver is paired with the gallbladder and aids in digestion and also helps with things like the regulating blood flow throughout the body, blood and qi flow. But in my world of seeing clients in practice, I would say that in our society, or at least here in the Bay Area, one of the biggest dysfunctions that I actually see is liver imbalances, because liver is harmed by the negative emotions of anger, frustration, rage, and resentment. Now the liver is a big organ that loves to process toxins, but at a certain point, then what happens is that it can no longer withstand the amount that it's having to process through. So if it's having to process toxins from the food that we eat, as well as our environment, what we're breathing in, and then also the toxicity of the emotions of anger, frustration, rage, resentment, old anger, repressed anger, control. If you're somebody that has too much control, or if you're too controlling, that's a sign of a liver imbalance. So there are so many different conditions or symptoms that we actually see stemming from the liver. And the liver controls the tendons, ligaments, and sinews, also opens up into the eyes. And when we have imbalances of the liver, then a person may tend to grind their teeth, have TMJ, wake up in the morning with their fists clenched. They may have other symptoms like migraines, headaches, problems with their menstrual cycle. They could have problems with the fingernails, dryness, cracked fingernails. There's so many different things that could happen. Floaters, flowery vision. So problems with the eyesight actually could stem from the liver. If you're one of those people that during the day that your energy tends to drop, tends to fluctuate actually, then we can look at the liver as being responsible for that, because the liver does govern blood, but what happens is that it also contains the qi. So if the blood isn't circulating right, if there's a stasis of blood in the liver, or deficiency of blood in the liver, then the person's energy is going to be off. And what's interesting is that when a person holds on to anger, then what happens is that it actually can explode. And this is where you'll hear some people say, "I was so angry, I saw red." Or what will happen is they may explode, but then they implode, and this is where we end up with cases of depression. So in Chinese medicine, we don't treat the mind. And I know that in Western medicine, Western science, this frontal cortex here is responsible for our consciousness, etc. But in Chinese medicine, when we see somebody with depression, we go to regulate the liver, which then affects the heart, which then affects the mind. So can't say enough about this organ. Has such a big responsibility, has over like 500 functions, but I would say in our culture, this thing of anger, holding on to anger, our ego loves to hold on to anger because we believe it will serve us at a future day to keep us prepared just in case something happens again that's similar to past trauma. And as a result of this, holding on to this past anger, or getting angry or irritated easily, agitated easily, then what happens is that it creates this dysfunction inside the body. Now, what's interesting is if I have a client come in that does not feel anger at all, does not even know what anger is, then I start to see symptoms of autoimmune or inflammatory conditions that arise. Because if you hold on to this stuff, or if you pretend like it doesn't affect you, it has to show up somewhere inside the body. And so one of the ways that it shows up actually is inflammation. If you're somebody with high cholesterol and you're eating healthy, you're exercising, I see this a lot too. You see people come in, bodybuilders, whatnot, with that are in great shape, but then what happens is that as a result of them holding on to this past anger, then that creates high cholesterol inside the body. So like I said, I can't say enough about this practice. It's such a great practice to do, and the next time you're feeling angry or resentful about something, go off into another room and just do this practice, this movement by yourself. And what's going to happen is it's going to be as though we're holding a ball and then we're squeezing through the center of the body. You imagine the color green filling up into the liver, which is located on the right side of the body. Exhaling, inhaling. So as I'm squeezing through the center here, I'm also pulling and elongating the side of the body where this liver meridian, here's liver 13, and then liver 14 is right here. So I'm actually stimulating this acupuncture channel that feeds into the liver, and then as I squeeze into the center here as I squeeze the ball. It's like I'm wringing out this internal organ. Okay, so the negative emotion is anger, resentment. Positive virtue is kindness and or creativity. The ability of the liver houses the ethereal soul, the part of the body or the part of the person's being that allows for one to be able to plan, to execute a plan, and to follow through with that. Okay, so starting off with our feet out, about shoulders width apart, knees slightly bent, sacrum tucked underneath, pressing back the Ming Men. Begin by pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhale. 3rd time, pull up. And exhale, release. And then bring the arms up about shoulder height. Inhale. Exhale. Going at your own pace. Long, steady, even, deep with the breathing. Releasing out any toxins, tension, tightness. And then from there, we slow down, coming back to the center. And then pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale, exhale. Gather. And exhale. Inhaling. And exhale. And then from there, bring the feet a little bit closer together. Begin to slightly bounce or lightly bounce on the balls of the feet to just allow for any tension in the ankles to release out through the bottom of the feet and down deep into the ground. And then from there, the knees, tension or tightness in the knees, allow for that to release. Next, the hips, the groin, low back. Allow for all that to release out through the legs and through the feet and down deep into the ground. Next, the center of the back and chest. Any excess thoughts, feelings, emotions, tightness on the spine in between the shoulder blades. Allow for that to let go through the body, through the feet, and deep into the earth. Next, the fingers and wrists. Shaking that, any tension or tightness from there out through the fingertips. And just imagine it as a dark cloud of energy flowing down deep into the ground. And next, the elbows, shoulders, head and neck. Guiding out all that toxicity, stagnation out through the arms, out through the fingers and deep into the ground. And then from there, we inhale, flowing up, pulling up through the body, golden light. Exhale and drop. And releasing down any dark, toxic energy into the ground. Inhaling and drop. And again, inhale and release. Good, and then stepping back out into your Wuji posture again, shaking the tree, inhaling all the way up. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Exhaling down. And again, inhaling. 2 more, inhaling. Like the Taylor Swift song, Shake It Off, inhaling. And from there, pulling the energy back, releasing down, inhaling, and exhaling, releasing out any heat or vibration in the body. Inhale, and exhale. And then from there, with your eyes closed, gently tucking the chin, pressing up at the crown point. Breath long, steady, even and deep into the lower abdomen. Imagine warm oil that begins to flow down through the front of the body, increasing your awareness of what's happening in front of you. Starting at the forehead and through the temples, the brow bone, eyebrows, and eyes. You feel the nose, the cheeks, the side of the face, the lips, the chin and jaw structure, the ears, the neck, throat, flowing through the shoulders, relaxing the tissues of the shoulders, through the biceps and elbows and forearms, the wrists, the palms of the hands, leading all the way out to the fingertips. And from there, enveloping the entire chest and flanks of the body underneath the armpits, through the side of the ribs, through the mid-abdomen, through the lower abdomen. Allow for this warm oil to now melt into the waist, through the groin, through the thighs, through the knees, the shins, ankles, feet and toes, all connecting, all flowing off deep into the ground. And from there, feel the entire front of your body, as well as the left and right sides of your body. Touching it all, being aware, being mindful of your entire body. And now, from the crown point at the top of the head, begin to melt down through the back, enveloping the scalp, behind the ears, flowing through the neck and the shoulders, through the triceps and elbows, through the forearms, the wrists, the back of the hands, all the way through the back of the fingernails to the fingertips. And then from there, the shoulders, the upper back, mid-back, flowing and pouring down through the low back and through the waist, and through the buttocks, the hamstrings, the knees, the calves, ankles, heels. Allow for this warm oil to flow down deep into the ground. And from there, feel the entire back of your body from head to toe. Feel what's behind you. Feel just as much in the back as you do in the front, and to the left and to the right sides. And from there, connecting with your higher power, imagine a white light that begins to flow down through the center of your being, increasing your awareness of what's inside of you. You visualize and feel the brain and surrounding tissues, the skull, the inner ear, the sinuses, the teeth, the tongue, the gums, the muscles surrounding the jaw, flowing down each of the vertebrae of the neck and throat, and feel the muscles and the arteries of the neck, branching off into the shoulders, the bones and muscles of the shoulders, through the biceps, triceps, through the elbows, through the forearms, all the small bones, tendons, ligaments of the wrists, hands, and fingers. And from there, the white light touches every rib. Feel the ribs as they wrap around to the spine on the back. Feel the heart, the lungs, traveling down into the liver and gallbladder, right side of the body, stomach and spleen on the left. The intestines, the urinary bladder, the kidneys, traveling down each vertebra into the sacrum. Feel the pelvic bone, the hips, the bones of the legs, the muscles surrounding them. The center of the knees, the center of the shins and calves, ankles, feet and toes, and allow for this white light to flow down deep into the ground. From there, imagine your feet melting into the floor like you're standing on a sea of liquid energy. From next, imagine roots growing out from the bubbling well points at the bottom of the feet, all the way down to the center core of the earth. And as you inhale, pull this golden light all the way up the roots, up the legs, into the abdomen as we inhale. Then as we exhale, descending back down, out the legs, out the roots, and down deep into the ground, ending toxicity of the body. So over and over, inhaling and exhale. In, exhale. Over and over, feel the energy come up, and then you feel it descending back down, deep into the ground. Inhaling and exhale. And then on the next inhalation, we're going to pull the energy straight up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, flowing through the perineum, and then entering in through the sacrum, like a pump, going up the spine, stimulating the central nervous system, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, still allowing for this imagination to lead the mind, and the mind to lead the smooth flow of the chi. If you want, you could use your hands to help guide the energy. If you feel that you have much better concentration just relaxing in Wu-Ji posture, then do the practice without the hand movements. Feel the energy rising up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen, completing the cycle. Tip of the tongue so gently curled to the roof of the mouth, behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N, closing off the upper gate. Lightly squeezing the anal sphincter muscle, closing off the lower gate of the body, allowing for this complete circuit through the governing conception channels. And then from there, just allowing for that energy to descend down into the lower dantian. And then we finish making sure to pull any excess energy out of the head by pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale. And gather. And then from there, going directly into the liver movement. Exhaling, inhale, exhale, in. So the liver, once again, cleansing out the negative emotion of anger, frustration, rage, and resentment. Positive virtue of kindness and creativity comes in. Controls the eyes. Liver controls your nervous system. So if you're somebody who's sensitive to touch, or if you're sensitive to light or sounds, it's a sign that the liver is out of balance. If you're somebody who gets spring allergies, seasonal allergies, the spring months is when the liver is most prone to disease. So, and is affected by wind. So the liver does not like wind. So they have a saying that whatever lies dormant in the liver during the winter months, in springtime when everything starts to blossom, flowers, the trees, Anything that has been lying dormant in the liver also starts to blossom and push out. This is what these seasonal allergies are. You could extend the tendons on the hands, widen the eyes. You can imagine a green cloud around the liver, having to purge, cleanse. So if you're somebody also who has acid reflux, GERD, abdominal distension, bloatedness, you could also look at the liver as being a contributing factor for this dysfunctions as well. Pain as though you have a rib out on the back. It's another sign. Just allow for this to cleanse, push out. Letting go of that past anger, bringing forth kindness, flexibility. And then from there, one last one. Push the energy in, push the energy down, and then pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale. Exhaling, releasing out any heat, vibration in the body. Inhale. And exhale. And again, pulling down. And from there, placing the hands over the lower dantian, 1 inch below the navel. As you inhale, imagine a mystical white pearl that begins to form underneath the hands, gathering the energy of the body, of the space around you. And then as you exhale, feel this white light restore the vitality of the kidneys on the low back. Inhaling. And exhale. Gather. And exhale. Inhaling. Feel the warmth of the white light as you inhale, then as you exhale, feel this warmth wrap around and fill up the kidneys on the low back. Last one, inhaling and exhale, restoring the vitality of the kidneys. Bring your energy back into your body. And then from there, just kind of shake out the legs, shake it off a little bit, come back to the present. Good. So we wrapped up day number 11 with liver cleansing exercise. My name is Chris Shelton. Thank you for joining me, 30 Days of Qigong to Better Health. I have a saying that Qigong is a simple practice with profound results.